Oh man, boys, here we go again. So obviously, most of you guys that watch this channel know that this is not a Call of Duty channel, though I think it's probably pretty clear considering Call of Duty is my main background gameplay that Call of Duty is my favorite gaming franchise of all time. And those of you that have been here the last couple of years, you know every single year after a new Call of Duty is released, I will make at least one video on the game talking about it, usually some sort of review. But this year, boys, this year is a little bit different because unfortunately this year's Call of Duty is being made by Infinity Ward. And to some of you boys that might not be a big deal, but let me tell you that is a huge deal to me because Infinity Ward is responsible for some of the worst Call of Duties we have ever seen. They created Infinite Warfare, they created Ghost, and most importantly, they created one of the biggest dumpster fires we have ever seen in the Call of Duty franchise, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. Now, if you enjoyed Modern Warfare 2019, that is totally fine. That doesn't change the fact that it's the worst Call of Duty of all time, and there's really no arguing against that. Feel free to attempt to argue against me in the comment section. It's not gonna work out for you. Now, obviously, I don't think Infinity Ward is necessarily the worst developer of all time, but unfortunately, those days of Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 are gone, and they've been gone for a long time. And I'll admit, I think the main reason why those days are gone and won't be coming back anytime soon is because of this big old bitch right here that you see on the screen, Joe Seacott. Joe Seacott is the co-design developer at Infinity Ward. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I believe Joe Seacott oversees most of what happens like at the game. He's not the boss of Infinity Ward Studios, but he's one of the main developers that helps develop Call of Duty. Now, I'm gonna make a full video on Joe Seacott because I got some shit to say about that motherfucker, to say the least. Today, I don't want to talk about Joe Seacott. Today, I want to talk about Infinity Ward and them simply outright just ignoring the entire community. So I'm sure most of you boys know at this point, today is weekend 2 of the Modern Warfare 2 beta, and I actually streamed the game for a couple of hours on my streaming account yesterday. Now, heading into weekend 1, which obviously was last weekend, Infinity Ward was asking the players of Call of Duty to leave recommendations on what they can fix going into weekend 2. Well, heading into weekend 2, most of those changes that the community asked for weren't there, and Infinity Ward has basically told us to go fuck ourselves about most of these changes. Now, so many people address concern about these main 3 changes that Infinity Ward did actually address them, unlike back during Modern Warfare 2019 when Joe Seacott basically just ignored everyone's concerns and liked any post that was jacking off his name. So the main 3 concerns that people had heading into beta weekend 2 was the red dots on the minimap, dead silence being a perk, and the actual perk system itself. So let's go through each one of these 3 things and see what Infinity Ward had to say about it, see their excuse for why they're flat out ignoring the people that actually play their game. So let's talk about red dots on the minimap because this shit's gonna fucking piss me off. So they said, currently in the Modern Warfare 2 beta, we only show enemy players' dots when a UAV is active. The design reason for this is that we do not want to punish players for firing their weapons. We also want players to actively search out the origin of a gunshot versus just traveling directly to where the dot is on the minimap. We continue to gather feedback on how the game is playing in regards to this topic. Alright, for one, you're clearly not gathering feedback for shit, considering we've been complaining about this for 3 fucking years now. As a matter of fact, this was such an issue back in Modern Warfare 2019 that when Treyarch was making their new game, Call of Duty Cold War, that was one of the main selling points in the game, is that there would be a traditional radar. That's how much much people fucking hated it back during Modern Warfare 2019. So really quickly, let's all just take a guess on what dick munching cock gobbler likes the radar like this. You guessed it, Joe fucking Seacott. You already know Joe Seacott was the kid getting bullied back in the Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. You know how many times Joe Seacott probably got a UAV called on him just to get fucked in his ass? Bro made it his life mission to stop good Call of Duty players so they can no longer say they fucked his mom after they drop a nuke on him. I mean, let's read what Infinity Ward had to say about this one more time. Let me remind you just really quickly. They literally said, "We do not want to punish players for firing their weapons." Like, what? This is a Call of Duty game. What you mean you don't want to punish them for firing their weapons? It's a Call of Duty game. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to shoot your fucking gun. Then they want to say, "We also want players to actively search out the origin of a gunshot versus just traveling directly to where the dot is on the minimap." I mean, holy shit. Just flat out say you don't actually play your own game. If you actually played the motherfucking game, you would realize that the second you start a game of something like Dom, all you can hear is gunshots. You hear gunshots everywhere, all around the fucking map, in both ears. How exactly am I supposed to find out where the fucking gunshots are coming from? Using the red dots on your minimap added more skill gap to a game that already doesn't have a very high skill gap. I don't know if you boys remember when you first started playing Call of Duty, but it probably took you a pretty long time to learn how to read that minimap correctly, and then also read that minimap correctly while traversing the map and getting into gunfights. That shit was not easy when you first started playing the game. Just like back in Modern Warfare 2019, what they're doing is lessening the skill gap and making it easier for shit players to enjoy the game. That's why so many garbage ass players enjoyed Modern Warfare 2019. They can continue to walk around it all that they want, but it's very obvious to good Call of Duty players that this change was made to help the bad players. Now, I know there might be a couple of people watching this video thinking, well, I like the minimap like this and I'm pretty good at COD. Listen here, bud, I hate to break it to you, but you're garbage. Like, you fucking suck at the game. There's no walking around that at all. Skill-based matchmaking might make you feel like you're good at the game, but believe me, if you enjoy the radar as it is right now and you think it's better like this, go ahead and refund your purchase, get rid of your console altogether, maybe even get rid of your PC, because it's definitely time to try a new hobby. Alright, let's move on to the next change that Infinity Ward is refusing to change. I definitely didn't expect to talk about that first one for that long, but fuck boys, when I see Infinity Ward just talking about dumbass shit, it gets me going. It got me feeling like 2020 again, bro. So the next one that I want to talk about is Dead Silence being a perk versus Dead Silence being a fueled upgrade. This is what Infinity Ward had to say about it. They said, "Dead Silence is another hot topic, as many players have expressed that they would like to see it as a perk instead of a field upgrade. We believe it is important to game health that rushers are not able to move at high speeds without consequence. Dead Silence as a field upgrade creates a balance between freedom of movement and predictability of combat." Now that sentence right there was enough for me to know that not a single one of these people that create this game actually play the fucking game, because they would know that Dead Silence being a field upgrade in this game with how loud your footsteps are actually creates the negative effect. It does not create freedom of movement. It causes people to not fucking move at all. People to constantly aim down sights instead of running around the map having fun. Then they said they don't want rushers to be able to move without consequence, which is a different way of basically saying that they want people to camp in buildings and fucking lean and do all this dumbass shit that they added to the game instead of running around and shooting people. This game, just like Modern Warfare 2019, is built for you to camp. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video that Infinity Ward has addressed already is the new perk system. Now, I don't know if you boys have had the chance chance to play Modern Warfare 2 yet, but the perk system, in my opinion at least, is fucking horrible. Now this one, as compared to the last two things we talked about, is a little bit more opinion based. So for this one, I am genuinely curious to hear what you guys have to say. But Infinity Ward said, we've seen varied feedback on the perk package system. Some players love it and others feel it's an unnecessary departure from the original system. We feel it's a nice shake up to how perks work and to the general progression of a match. We've also balanced the ultimate perks to become more powerful as you earn them later in the match. We'll continue testing throughout the beta weekend 2, including drastically accelerating the earn rate of these to see how players react. Our goal remains improving the flow of all perks ahead of launch. Now though, I'll admit I don't absolutely hate this perk system. I do find it funny that they start off a sentence saying that they see varied feedback and that some people love it and some people hate it. I dare you to find somebody who genuinely thinks this perk system is amazing, somebody who loves it and thinks it's way better than the old perk system. I genuinely dare you. You're not gonna find that, and I think that's the problem right there. Though this perk system isn't necessarily the worst thing of all time, why is it in the game? Why did you change something that didn't need to be changed? Just like back in Modern Warfare 2019 when they originally changed the minimap, that was a question that we all had. Why? What made you do that? This was an unnecessary change, and now we're gonna be stuck with this change for 2 years. COD isn't in the same spot that it was 10 years ago when everybody was saying that the game is the exact same every single year. Back then, people loved the game. People thought the game was great, and they were complaining because it needed a little bit of changes. Nowadays, all we fucking want is for the game to be almost as good as it was back in the day, yet you want to change everything about the game now. Ultimately, I don't really have as much to say about the perk system as I did about the last two things. Really, just like I said, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's definitely playable and I can handle it. It was just an unnecessary change and something that they probably should have been spending their time working on a different part of the game rather than changing something that didn't need to be changed. With that being said though, boys, that right there is where I'm going to end the video. If you enjoyed the video, comment down in the comment section, drop a like on the video, help your boy get pushed deeper into people's recommended. Thank you so much to my channel members, JC and that archive guy. You two are absolutely insane. Subscribe to the streaming channel if you haven't already. We will be streaming a lot of Modern Warfare 2 this year, and I will see you boys in the next one. Peace.